When I moved into my house at the end of last year, I was searching for the perfect space to create my dream fish room, a project I'd envisioned since childhood. Although I'd previously built a dream store with over 380 aquariums, this room was meant to be a little more personal, incorporating optimizations I'd learned from constructing 2 rooms before. This house was ideal, with a small bedroom on the ground floor that seemed just right for bringing my vision to life. For this build, I got the help of my good friends Dave and Quentin once again. These two have been instrumental in my journey from the very beginning, including the construction of my first fish room. Still not here? How long have we been waiting for him?
Have you got that on?
Yeah, and pay him out later.
Pay him out later.
Yeah, he's the boss.
He'll be half an hour late.
You gonna help us today?
Get him.
Go, kill.
No, you should say good afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon, Quentin.
Oh, yeah.
The first step was taking measurements. I explained my vision to Quentin.
Okay, sit down and work it out, eh? What's a good place to sit?
Upstairs, you want it? You want
Dog have the
that? I already got a calendar.
This is so what it is, dogs have the
Yeah.
Take pictures of anything, eh?
Oh, dog having the
Yeah.
Who gave you that?
Mum.
Yeah, how big a gap we need between the...
Probably 20. Get a bit of space in there. And he sketched out some basic frames that we'd build using structural pine. You're back. Then, the guys gathered the materials and started cutting the pieces to size. Do it again, Dave. Do it again, Dave.
What out? He wants a cigarette.
Somebody want a ciggy? Oh. He's chewing on some crap. Here, watch this. He'll howl if I play this sound. No way. I prefer building my aquarium stands this way. The wood gives a more natural look, and it's more cost effective and quicker to construct than metal stands. Both types of stands have their pros and cons, but I've always used wooden stands and never had any issues. Once the pieces were cut, we began nailing the frames together.
If we put them like that, this one here can go across.
Yeah. The best approach is to create the front and back sections of the stand and secure them. Next, you attach the support beams to create the front and back. Your hearing must be up to like 80 years of this day.
Huh?
Your hearing must be... With that, the stand is complete. Pretty easy. You just hit yourself with it. Now a lot of people are probably wondering why I didn't build these stands myself. Sure, I could have built the stands myself, but to speed up the process, I enlisted their help. And with the 3 of us working together, we managed to get everything done in a single day, freeing up more of my time to focus on the day-to-day operations of my retail store.
Do you want 400s again?
No, I'm really good.
Don't know yet.
You doing these ones?
Yep.
Yeah, go.
Oh, I don't want to shove it in Quentin's face.
Why?
Because I'm a nice guy.
What does that do, that stuff?
It's for...
Seals it.
Yeah. It's for,
Waterproof.
yeah.
And that'll just... no, that'll just prevent the...
Oh, white ants don't like it either,
Yeah.
as I say.
It's good we won't get any white ants in our lungs then.
Nah. Of course I am good vibes.
Show us. Yeah.
How much arsenic did you put in?
Heaps. I sprayed a bunch of that ant cap shit as well in there. Doing a bit of a dismantle.
Gosh, just made it faster. That's too late.
Whose fault was it?
My fault, because I had the wrong tank size.
Ah.
Don't think it'll be mine, do you?
Oh, it always is. It's always your fault here and always your fault at home.
Yes, true. That is true.
Alzheimer's. It's Alzheimer's.
They go in the same hole.
Within 100 mil.
Yeah, he had an interview with him and he just explained he's at the pond
Hey.
out Tasmania.
Yeah, that would be hard.
No, it wasn't hard for him.
Have you heard of Benny Hill?
Nah.
Oh, God. Yeah, have you heard the song Fastest Milk Cart in the West?
No.
You're lacking education.
He put Spotify on. Benny Hill was a comedian. At the end of the show, he'd be running along and all these girls would be chasing after him.
Oh yeah.
I pity you young people. Have you heard, you probably haven't heard Farewell Honey Jack.
And they're good at what they do.
No.
Have you heard of The Streak?
No.
Ray Stevens.
Have you heard of Drake?
Who?
Drake?
No.
Post Malone?
Who?
Post Malone?
Who? No.
Yeah.
If it's not Black Sabbath or Uriah Heep or Deep Purple or Led Zeppelin or AC/DC,
Yeah, that's fine,
what's the point in knowing them?
We built some of the smaller stands outside the room, but the larger stand, which holds 8 2-foot tanks, had to be assembled directly in its final location. It's like, this used to be a lot of work for a fish room, but after that last one, this is a piece of piss. Like, there's nothing that'll ever compare to that.
Get to hold that there.
Like, you remember we did this for like 3 weeks?
Did it take us that long? Oh, I know, but we did all the other shop up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just everything just took a long time.
that's it.
It may not seem like it, but these wooden stands can support a significant amount of weight and are actually quite structurally sound. I've never been concerned about them falling apart or causing me any issues. However, to give me a little extra peace of mind, we added some bolts to secure the structure. Isn't it crazy this can hold up like a ton?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy to you? We're going to put a pole right in the middle here. A pole.
Oh, there she goes.
In the fish room.
I installed one of them for a man.
Really?
Yep.
And just like that, the first step of the build was complete. This part of the process is one of my favourites because it makes the project feel real. Afterward, I had to decide whether to paint the stands or varnish them with a seal. I opted for the latter to give them a more natural appearance. While this task can be a little tedious, it provides a beautiful finish and helps to preserve the stands for years to come. A step that's definitely not worth skipping. Next, it was time to focus on the tanks.
How long have you been here for?
I've been at this house for 7 months.
Right.
Yeah,
Buying or renting?
renting.
I'm pretty sure I've delivered here before.
Really?
Yeah,
You've delivered here?
yeah. Years ago.
Wow.
I did come twice.
For this build, I had my local tank supplier create the aquariums for me. Darren has been crafting tanks for decades and has just decided to close his shop. He supplied over 60 tanks for my first build, and even a few from my childhood. Currently, I don't believe there's another reliable tank builder in my city. So, if you're in Brisbane and considering starting a side hustle or your first business, I highly recommend looking into aquarium building. You'd be surprised by how many people are in need of tanks. Then it was time for those little tweaks that would make this room truly special. Jason from Australian Biotopes lent a hand as we installed the railing for the lights and aeration tubing for the room.
Was he a rescue dog?
Yeah.
But chances are one of those dogs that run away all the time.
Yeah.
We'd always pick a stupid dog too when we were kids, like we picked a sausage dog once. It was like getting a ferret, he could get under the gate.
Yeah. So your dad just left it?
He ran away, we couldn't find him. That's why they're there in the first place, because they run away all the time.
This space will feature an automatic water change system, which will significantly simplify tank maintenance. We made an effort to disguise this feature as much as possible, and after all, that's what good mates are for.
So here's your outside line here, and your inside line, so you get on this side and hold it up there.
Yeah.
And I'll just mark this one first. This one's going to be easy for you because when I mark it, it's just going to stay square with this timber like that. Does that look straight? Yeah. Okay. You're going to have to use the screw again.
Look at that, professional lighting looking. Another lesson I've learned after 2 builds is to always paint your tanks. At least the bottom and back. I've always opted for black, as it tends to stay looking clean the longest. I use an oil-based enamel paint, applying it with a roller. If you're only painting a few tanks, I recommend using spray paint. But when you're tackling many, rolling is easier and more cost-effective. This process isn't fun. I painted over 380 tanks in my last room, and it took us weeks of continuous work. So revisiting this task brought back some of those traumatic memories. However, I knew it would be worth it in the end, as the tanks look so much more polished. After that, my plumber assisted me in building the automatic water change system for the room. This classic system, which I borrowed the idea from Dean, works by pumping new water into one corner of the aquarium, which forces an overflow out the other side, effectively diluting the tank with fresh water. You already put the hole in?
Yeah, it's trying to. There's like steel in there.
Well, there's steel in the wall. I won't go in detail about the entire process here, but I do have a video that covers Dean's system in depth. I like to construct these systems using simple irrigation supplies. There's no one-size-fits-all approach, so if you're looking to build something similar, you'll have to make it work with bubblegum and string and get your hands dirty trying to do it. One thing I can definitely recommend from my experience with a few rooms is to complete as much of the setup as possible before placing the tanks. Make sure to get the water inlets, drainage, power, lighting, and aeration all installed first. Trust me, you'll be grateful for this advice later.
This is gonna make it. Hey, look at that.
Well, you don't even have to cut it.
No. I've never ever had that in my life.
Really?
Look at that, 3,735.
You've never had that happen?
No, not exactly like that. That's just ridiculous.
Well, I mean, good we got that on camera.
Oh,
Maybe you should buy a lottery ticket.
yeah, I thought I mentioned actually.
For the lighting in this room, I installed a series of 20 to 30 watt LED floodlights. These lights are absolutely amazing. One of the best DIY fish room hacks I've discovered. They cost between $25 to $40 each, but provide the same results as an overpriced $100 light. They look incredibly professional and deliver a brilliant daylight spectrum, making them excellent for growing plants and showcasing my little fin friends. So I've done a little bit of work off camera, and like by a little bit, I've done a lot. So we've pretty much finished the whole room up, and I thought I'd just finish the video off by showing you kind of what the space is, what we did, everything. Kind of give you a little bit of like instructions on how to build a room like this. So obviously we got to like the stage of where we're doing the plumbing and all that. You can see that it's all complete. And the reason for that is I kind of have been just craving for a long time having my own home space where I don't have to film things and I can just enjoy fish tanks without thinking about them for breeding for profit or being a shop tank or all that stuff. I just want like home enjoyment tanks. So this is kind of like a private room. The way we've set it up, everything in here is obviously on the automatic water change system. I'll quickly walk you through how it works. You can see here, I've got my plumber to install tap with water from the mains. So this just turns on like that. Now what I've done is he's done all the piping up to here. So you can get your plumber in your area to do this for you. It's like, I mean, plumbers are expensive, but he taps up to here. And then I've linked up here, if you come in behind Harlan, you'll see this is irrigation pipe. So this is what they use for like watering gardens. And you can see I've just chucked in T-joints and basically done a bit of Lego here and created the water in. So basically, water comes into these tanks when I turn it on like this. Now this water is no good for the fish. It's not safe to use for the fish. So it's a little bit annoying. Here in Brisbane, we have chloramine in the water, which is totally messed up. It's not good for you to drink, but it's also not good for you to put into your fish tanks. What I have to do is before I run this water change system, I've got like a tap water conditioner, and this would be a really good product for us to make one day, tap water conditioner. Anyways, this is just tap water conditioner. I go around with a pipette and I dose each tank with 2 squirts of it, and I turn on the water change for 20 minutes. I put a timer on my phone. Now I can't forget about that timer, otherwise I'll kill my fish. So I run the water change for 20 minutes. The water goes in through the pipes. You can see I've run them behind here. I've tried to do them as neat as possible. So they're all run behind the stands here, and the water comes in. Then we've got the water overflow here. So I went to the irrigation store and bought these pieces. So don't go, what I've found out, like this is a big tip for everyone building a fish room, go to the irrigation shop, like a watering supplies shop. Don't go to like Home Depot or Bunnings. There's way more different pieces that you can use, so you can actually do like a way better job. Like they don't sell these at Bunnings, but at the irrigation shop they sell these overflows and they're like $4 each. So, and you can just put a piece of sponge there if you've got fry, and it would stop things from overflowing. But then the water overflows into this drain, which the plumber put in. So you can see here's the drain. I got the plumber to put this in place as well because he's going to do a heaps better job than me. Where's a good place to sneak in and have a look at it? Maybe over here. If you hop in, you can see how I've plumbed it up. The water overflows there. Now that water just runs outside into my garden and onto the lawn at the moment. I'm going to set up like a whole pond system and veggie garden to collect that water and reuse it. But for now, it just overflows into the backyard. But the way the automatic water change works is just through a system of dilution. So if I want to turn it on, it dilutes the water for me. I don't have to use buckets to fill up any of these tanks, and it works beautifully. As for heating for the room, we've got an air conditioner. The air conditioner runs at 24 degrees all the time, and I can bump this up when I want to. Now this room creates a fuck ton of humidity because of all the bubbling and the air conditioner just heating the room. So what I also had to buy, I had to buy a dehumidifier. Now, this dehumidifier fills up every day with water. It sucks it out, but it makes the room feels warm, but it's not like hot. Kind of like that dry heat, and it's much nicer. But this also creates RO water. So every time that fills up, I've got fresh RO water on tap, which I could use for breeding tetras or whatever I want to do here, which I'm going to definitely use at some point. Or I can keep pouring that into a tank and slowly drop the mineral in the tank by overflowing it. So we've got that as well. As for the lights, we linked up all the lights on wires behind this beam because it made it much neater. Me and Jason did these beams. Obviously, I painted them and rendered them as well, and it makes the room look a whole lot neater. And they run off of these Wi-Fi timers, so I can control these from the phone, and they come on at night. So the Wi-Fi's down there, yeah. So you can just get those from Bunnings as well. They're like $50 each. You know, you can turn off all the lights in one hit. The filtration for the room, each tank is separate filters, sponge filters, and I put the air line behind this beam. I reckon everyone should have one of these beams if they want to neaten up the room. And we've just tapped in. So this is, what's it called? More of that irrigation pipe. And then I've just used the irrigation pieces for the air line. And I've even gone as far as using them for the tap valves for the air too. All these little irrigation pieces I find are really like well built and sturdy. So they work really well for your fish rooms, and they're black and clean and simple. So they match my brand and vibe. Yeah, we did a lot of work, and I can't wait to use this room. I mean, at night, it's really cool. I'm thinking of putting a pond here. I got lots of plans for this place. I think what I'm going to do is just enjoy it personally. And then maybe when we do fish room tours, we can come back here in the afternoon and check it out real quick. But we already have fish in here. Already planted out a couple of tanks, and I can't wait to keep enjoying this room and this hobby. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a big process getting this room finally done. It's cool having a fish room at home finally. Want to say bye, Sammy? See you guys.